Hello everyone, my name is Mike Yeomans. I'm Director of the Valuations and Consulting team at IBA. We're here today to have the Aviation Conversation around the helicopter market, and for that I'm joined by my colleague and IBA's manager and expert of helicopters, Rami Abdel Aziz. Welcome and thank you very much, Rami. I think we'll start the conversation off just talking around some of the dynamics that are going on in the helicopter market today, and really to see what's driving that and what are the most significant factors that are affecting the market. So, Rami, tell us what's going on in the helicopter market.
Thank you, Mike, for your question, and thank you for the introduction. When we are talking about the helicopter market, there are three drivers at the moment at play. We do have our economy drivers, which are driving the operations of such a VIP helicopters.
So at the moment, what direction do you see that moving in? Do you think for the VIP, are you seeing a positive trend?
Well, at the moment, the views on the VIP market still with a stable outlook at the moment, and which might lead to a slightly more negative outlook into the future for the VIP helicopters.
Are there any particular helicopters in that VIP segment that you think are likely to perform better than others? Or are there any that you see under pressure, maybe less likely to recover?
Yes, within the VIP area, we do see some of the S76 C++ and the older generation of the S76 are not doing as well as they have done in the past. However, other helicopters such as the AW139, 169, H145 in their VIP configuration are currently doing better than of the 76. However, in general, the general trend for the VIP operations still in a more stable to negative outlook rather than a positive outlook.
So maybe shall we explore a little bit more about the sort of offshore oil and gas market? We've obviously seen a high and volatile fuel price environment and an oil price environment. How's that affecting the market for helicopters that are serving the offshore oil and gas market?
The operating environment has a very large effect on the helicopter market in general. When we see the oil pricing recover, such as from like the under $50 in early 2020, and which then increased to just over 100 towards the end of 2021, the helicopter market within the offshore sector have seen a considerable increase in the demand for these helicopters. Furthermore, supply chain disruption has been a critical factor in the helicopter market. In 2022 and early 2023, there has been a constant supply chain issues of parts for new helicopters, and also for support of operations for the used market that supports the operations for the operators. We are expecting supply chains to be resolved by the end of 2024. However, until then, we do expect some disruptions within the operation of the market.
We've explored some of the demand drivers and what's feeding into the helicopter market in terms of that sort of supply and demand balance. If you had to pick an area of the helicopter market that is performing the most strongly at the moment, which area would that be?
When it comes to the helicopter demand, we observe several helicopters. For instance, we have the emergency medical services such as EMS, which stand out as a great performance within the market. EMS helicopter are increasingly critical for rapid medical operations and patients transport. As well, we are seeing the growth in the segment of the firefighting. Helicopters equipped for firefighting are combating wildfires and safeguarding communities, and are becoming increasingly vital in disaster response efforts.
Okay, so Yeah, two really important roles there, I think. So if you had to sort of pick your top one, two helicopter types for serving those markets, maybe for your EMS, for your firefighting, what are the kind of best performing assets in those roles, would you say?
Generally speaking, within the EMS market, you usually will see more helicopters within the light to medium helicopters are serving within this category, and the flexibility between the weight when you get look at the lighter helicopters within on the lower end of the light helicopter segment, they're more used for shorter distance of operations,
Okay.
such as the H145, 135, where when you start looking at the upper end of the light helicopter category or the medium helicopter, such as AW139, these are used within the EMS market for the longer distance of operations or in terrains that are difficult to operate in or hot environments, cold environments.
Okay. Did you see some operators operating mixed fleets of sort of light to medium helicopters, or do you tend to see them more focusing on one or the other, or does it vary depending on the operator and environment?
Well, heavy helicopter exemplified by the models of like the S92 and the 25 have recently shown signs of improvement in 2023, down from their downturn back in 2015, 2016.
So, what sort of what sort of range and value could you expect to see for a sort of typical midlife S92?
I mean, typically speaking, for these helicopters, they're largely dependent on their configuration.
Okay.
When we look at these helicopters from new helicopters, for example, within the heavy categories, if they are operating with search and rescue capabilities and with advanced uh, searching and
Okay. So, in terms of sort of future deliveries to serve that offshore market, where do you see that? Do you see that in the heavy category, or do you see maybe more of that long-term demand in the super medium?
at the moment, the super medium, which is dominated by the AW189 and the H175, are continuing to growing. However, the deliveries of these helicopters remain at much smaller levels than they're expected, and deliveries of these helicopters are rather slow than what the demanded is there. For that, the heaviest helicopters continue to cover this area of the operations where the super medium are needed. However, as the deliveries increase for the super mediums, we will start to see replacement and fleet renewals for these helicopters, heavy helicopters, switching to a super medium in the future.
Okay. So is it more the case that it's those issues you talked about around supply chains that are holding back the deliveries, not so much the demand. The demand's there, but the OEMs are just not able to satisfy that demand. Is that
I believe it's a combined factor. The supply chain is affecting some of the issues for the growth in the super medium. However, generally speaking, a couple of years ago, the demand all for the heavies was also down on the downturn, and we have seen a recent resurge in the oil prices, which resurged the operations for these helicopters. Therefore, the super medium are still operating.
Rami on the super mediums? I'd ask you where do you see that market heading in the near term, and which assets in that class do you see the best potential for? Maybe ask in a different way. Where would you put your money in the super medium?
Well, as we discussed, the main uh, helicopter within the super medium category are the AW189 and the H225. The super medium at the moment, the deliveries are not as high uh, for them to take hold of and replace the heavy helicopters at the moment.
Okay.
Deliveries for the super medium ranges in the region of 5 to 10 helicopters per year. However, this is likely to increase in the coming years as we see more fleet renewals or new operators entering into the market that they are looking to expand, which are likely to take on the super medium helicopters rather than the.
We're starting to move down the weight categories now. We touched on the heavies, the super mediums. What about the light and the medium market? Sort of which helicopters in that market do you see as maybe most flexible in terms of their roles and operations?
In the light and medium helicopters, this is uh, the weight category with the most helicopter types, and you will see also the most helicopters are delivered within this weight category.
Okay.
And they represent a rather large percentage of the global fleet. More specifically, when we start to look into the light helicopters, we do see a preference towards the Airbus helicopters such as the H135 and the 145 from Investor.
Okay.
And also from the medium sector, we do see preference going towards the AW139. These helicopters in general within the light and medium, they offer a versatile operation for the operators, and they allow them to be operated in many sectors and areas within the market. They could be serving in an EMS configuration. They can also be operating as police helicopters, offshore, near shore oil rigs or wind farms.
I know that you and your team are involved in several hundred of helicopter appraisals throughout the year. And I just wanted to explore, when you're dealing with your clients around engaging in these appraisals, are there any factors that you think are maybe overlooked and should maybe have more attention paid to them?
Yeah, of course, when we look at the valuation of the helicopters, the main area that you will be looking at is uh, first of all, the type of the helicopters and the weight category that it serves in. And then we will be looking at how is the helicopter, the year of manufacturing and the year that it was built and delivered. Uh, these factors, we consider it alongside the role and the configuration of the helicopters, which do present a larger percentage of the impact on the helicopter value. A helicopter that is operating in a VIP or a utility area would have a different impact on the value of a search and rescue helicopter that has advanced searching capabilities that is serving with uh, coast guards, for example.
Thanks very much, Rami. Really appreciate your thoughts and insights there today. Really interesting conversation. So thanks very much. If you've enjoyed the conversation today, I just wanted to make you aware that IBA has been voted in the prestigious Airline Economics Aviation 100 Awards for the Appraiser of the Year category. And we'd really appreciate your vote. So we're going to put a link into the description down there. Follow the link, vote for us. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.